What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Service Hub, where we talk about tips, tricks, and things that you can apply into your service business. We also bring in industry leaders, current business owners that apply this stuff themselves. So welcome. Today, I will be your host, Parker Williams. I am missing my co-host, Trevor Hansen. Bummed to not have him with us today, but he'll be back on the next show. Also, we have an awesome guest, Joe Cunningham. Joe Cunningham has over 30 years of experience in the HVAC and plumbing industry. He is currently the founder of the Technical Arts Center, where they teach and train technicians to take their career to the next level. And he's also the president of Success Track Network, which is a premier provider of consulting services, educational and training programs created and proven to help service companies reach higher levels of success and profitability. I am super excited to have him on the show today to share some of his tips and tricks and the things that he is currently doing. Joe is not only a founder and president of these two businesses, but he also runs and owns an HVAC business in Texas. And so he's not only teaching people this stuff, he's not the type of person that is, we call it the fat coach, right? He is actually doing this stuff himself and applying it in his business. And so this is very valuable, and we're excited to have him on the show. Joe, go ahead and give us a background. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to, and we'll kind of dive in and go from there.
Okay. Well, actually, my first trade that I ever worked in was plumbing. When I was a kid, I had an uncle that was a licensed plumber. So I had to go to work with him at a pretty early age and learned that I really didn't like plumbing a whole lot, at least the part that I was doing. So I kind of moved laterally into some other industries. I did some carpentry work and roofing work and things like that. And I ended up being in the home improvement business. We moved to Houston, Texas, and I had a pretty successful home improvement business here. And one day a lady asked me if I could put some air conditioning in for her because we put a big room addition on for her. And I didn't know if I could or not, but I had a subcontractor that did my framing who had a brother that was in the air conditioning business. So I hired him to do it. And I saw that it was pretty profitable. And that's how I got in the air conditioning business, actually on the selling side. I learned how to sell it. Before long, I was selling about $1 million a year in replacement equipment, and that was when not many people did it, so I got a lot of attention from the distributors and manufacturers, and one thing kind of led to the next, and I ended up working for all four of the carrier distributors in the state of Texas and helped them put together a program called Texas Tough. Carrier on the national level saw what we were doing in Texas, and they asked me to put a national program together for them. So some of your listeners out there, I'm sure, have heard or seen the value-added selling, value-added service series that Carrier and Bryant had out years ago. I put that program together for them.
No way. That's awesome.
And so I worked for Carrier for a while. I worked with a company called Retrotech, who has grown into be Comfort Institute, helping them put some programs together and selling some equipment for them. And then I met some of the best practice group people out there, and I went to work with Contractor Success Group, and I ran Future University for them, which was their educational arm. And through Future University, I went to work for Service Experts before there really was a Service Experts. And I was involved with the beginning of that, worked for them for quite a while. I did the first nationally broadcast, regularly scheduled television program for the heating and air conditioning industry out of the Train plant in Tyler. And things went along pretty well, and I decided to go out on my own again and started doing consulting work in the heating and air conditioning business. And I've been doing that since, I guess 1998 or so. Training American Standard are some of my biggest clients, Service Roundtable, Service Nation. And through Service Roundtable and Service Nation, I've really gotten lucky and gotten kind of able to move back into the plumbing side as well, since a lot of their members are plumbers. And now with that large group of people that belong to them, I work all over the U.S., Canada, and Australia in the heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical service businesses. And I'm just having a great time doing it. Meet great people, and I see a lot of interesting things in our industries.
I bet. That's awesome. Man, you're like the grandfather of the industry. That's I bet you provide so much insight into common issues that people are making, or common mistakes people are making, and can you share a little bit about maybe some common problems you see HVAC companies are making or service businesses are making?
Well, it's kind of been an evolution of our businesses and the heating and air conditioning. In fact, all the trades, we've followed quite a bit behind most other retail businesses. For such a long time, heating and air conditioning and electrical businesses actually were trade organization type businesses. All they did was provide a service. But then when people wanted to grow a bigger and better business, they had to start realizing that it's really people that own these products. And those are the ones we have to focus on, because you'll never see a toilet or an air conditioner write you a check. So as I've watched this thing grow, the people skills side of the business was I think more than likely the biggest obstacle to overcome, getting people to understand, how to relate to people and how to hire the right technicians and the right service workers and service managers that had people skills so they could actually grow their business. And then after we started getting a few of the right people in there, then marketing became an issue, because we have seasonal businesses, more in the air conditioning industry than the plumbing side, but all of our businesses can be a bit seasonal, but we need to pay our employees all year long. So we had to become better marketers and learn how to grow these businesses. And due to the fact that in the educational process of our young people, we're now experiencing, since we're growing and growing and growing as industries and hiring more and more people, we're now experiencing a shortage of employees. These kids today, well, not just today, for the past 25 years or so, have been encouraged to take a 4-year college track when they get out of high school. They're absolutely convinced by the counselors and the people that are running public education and private education as well, that you must go to college for 4 years in order to have a good career. So not many are pointed at the trades, and quite a few of the public schools have actually discontinued their VOTEC program, so there isn't any trade training in most of the high schools. So these kids go off and get a great big college degree that's associated with a lot of debt, and then they come out and they have an enormous amount of debt and a degree in something that will do them no good. They can't get a job.
And the space is completely saturated, and the competition to get a job is high. Obviously, with the employment rate being super low right now, and there's more jobs that need to be filled. But yeah, it's kind of backwards. I totally agree.
It sure is. You see these kids getting out of high school and going to college and get a $200,000 college tuition debt, and then for the next 15 years they have to live in their parents' basement because the only job they can get is at a fast food joint, when the trades would have been a much better situation. And as I've watched things grow, and I've seen the development of our industry and actually seen hands-on what can be done with these people to move them in the trades, I've really decided to expand on that more myself. We have an air conditioning company that I own here in Houston, so we do a lot of experimentation here as to who to hire, when to hire, how to hire, and how to train. And what I'm finding out is that you can train people in a reasonably short period of time to be effective workers in the heating and air conditioning and plumbing industry. And that's kind of the path we're following now. We're recruiting younger people in that industry. We find out that there's less and less experienced people to be had. The average age of the workers that are in the heating and air conditioning and plumbing industry is now over 50 years old. So what are we going to do in 15 years when they all retire? So we have to bring that young blood in. And
yeah, absolutely.
The easiest way is to start recruiting these people. And this week I went to Chicago and met with a group of people up there who are helping veterans transition from the military into the civilian life sector. And in 2 weeks, we have a large meeting with some heads of the Army up in Chicago, and then we're going over to meet with the people that run Fort Knox to see if we can get those programs put in place and bring the soldiers that are transitioning out and teaching them the trades here at our school in Houston. And hopefully we'll be able to find employment for these guys, because I think they'll be a huge asset to our industry, and it'll be a win-win for both sides. We'll have guys coming out of the service who have been taught to follow processes and procedures. They should be easy to train. They have a vested interest in learning these things, and I think it's going to give us a tremendous workforce to put out there in the plumbing and heating and air conditioning industry.
That's amazing. You know, and it's cool to hear that there's people actually out there doing things to help with this unemployment and build some awareness that you don't just have to go to school and get a 4-year degree and come out and go and work in business and tech and you know, all these other industries. There's a ton of opportunity in the trade world, and I think that's awesome. So are you guys doing that through the Technical Arts Center that you're the founder of? Is that right?
Yes, we're running the classes through the Technical Arts Center. We've been teaching HVAC techs here for now about 4 years now, 3 or 4 years. And we've turned out some fantastic students. And the way we've designed the school is to help entry-level people build a career path. You know, we take these guys that are being sent in by heating and air conditioning contractors from around the United States and Canada, and we put them through what we call the 9-day fast track program, where we take a student who has very little knowledge of the heating and air conditioning industry, but does have some mechanical aptitude and a willingness to learn, and turn them into a maintenance tech in 9 days. And if you take a look at what that will allow them to do, it's going to allow them to go back to the company that sent them and run their maintenance calls, because maintenance technicians right now are at a premium, and they'll be able to run the maintenance calls. And then say they get through the spring rush and they're done with their tune-ups and summer's coming. Well, we then have a 3-day air conditioning specialist class where you can send this maintenance tech back and he'll brush up on his AC-specific skills and start learning how to work on air conditioners and diagnose air conditioning problems. Then after summer goes through, cooling season or heating season's coming again, we have a 3-day heating specialist class where we bring them back into the classroom again. We teach them specific heating equipment skills, and 85% of what we do is hands-on, so there's never any question as to whether these guys really get it. We teach him the heating skills. He'll then go through the heating season. And then next spring, we have what we call our air conditioning troubleshooting specialist class. And he'll come out of that being able to troubleshoot and diagnose most heating and cooling problems. And the end result is, in a 15-month period of time, we're able to take a person who previously knew nothing about air conditioning and turn him into a technician that generally takes the equivalent of about 4 or 5 years. So we've been really lucky in being able to do that. The results have been tremendous. You know, the tuitions, we keep them as low as we can. Our class to teacher ratio is very small. We only have 10 people that are allowed to be in each class because it is so hands-on. And it's just been the biggest boon that I can see out there to the entry-level guys that's around.
That's awesome. So are you guys actually taking people that come to you? Let's say I'm, just out of high school and I decide I want to go to trade school. Are you taking them, training them, and also placing them? Or are you guys working specifically with HVAC plumbing companies?
Right now we're working specifically with HVAC companies. They're sending their students to me. I'm working on a recruitment package now to help heating and air conditioning contractors learn how to recruit these guys out of school, out of high school, or out of the smaller colleges, and talk to them about the trade, recruit them and talk them into going to school for them and working for them. So when they recruit this young person and they send them to school, the person's virtually got a job guaranteed to them when they get out. The veterans are going to add a different twist to this. You know, they will be paying for it with the Army's funds. The Army's, in all effect, is going to be sending them. So they'll come here, and then when they go out, because of the large network of contractors that I know, it should be pretty easy for these guys to find a job because they will be work ready when they come out, and their education on the first part of it will be done. Another thing that we're doing is within the next month or so, we're adding a plumbing school as well, and we've got our curriculum built and finished. I've had it reviewed by some really impressive people in the plumbing business who have tons of experience, including Frank Blau, to look at our curriculum and say, hey, you know what, this is what we really need for the entry-level plumbing, minor service maintenance guys. So we're going to repeat our successes in the HVAC side on the plumbing side as well, and we're really excited about getting that going.
That's awesome. So some of our audience isn't just in HVAC and plumbing, and we get people from all different kinds of service business industries. I think a lot of people might be really interested in that training package you guys are putting together about how to recruit people for your business.
Right.
Give us some insight into that, and maybe give us a tip about what are some things companies can do to start finding qualified people, or what types of people you should be looking to bring onto your business as an apprentice or as a new technician. And let's kind of dive into that a little bit.
Well, the thing about marketing for entry-level people, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, any of the trades or services, this is not really a sexy industry, where it looks like you're going to be making feature-length motion pictures and meeting all these people or traveling to exotic places. So you have to take that into account, I think, when you first start looking for your students. So, or for your future employees, rather. So, I'd suggest, in the way we have it set up a couple different ways. One is go to the school and have a professional day when they bring the business owners in or industry leader people in to explain the opportunities of a heating and cooling career, or a plumbing career, a career in the garage door business, a career in glass, and whatever trade it happens to be. The opportunities about it, but the biggest obstacle that I see these guys run into is they just stand up there and talk. And a lot of them aren't very dynamic speakers, so we're putting together some PowerPoint presentations to help a business owner, if he wanted to do a trade day at a school, go in and actually make a presentation to talk about the opportunities in our business. Then the second way is to have a job fair where you run your business. A lot of people don't know about the opportunity, so it requires recruiting students or people that are in colleges or even working in other industries. And the one thing about our air conditioning company, all of my technicians here, except for one, came through our 9-day school, and that's where they started. And we've got guys that were waiters at Olive Garden before they came here, or they worked in a warehouse using a forklift, or they worked in a drugstore just stocking the shelves. So we get them from everywhere. So we've got some ads that we use, that we run, that are designed to bring those people in. And then our regular employment ads. To me, it's amazing how many entry-level people we find that are looking for a career and looking for something beyond a job. Our typical employment ad, and we run employment ads all the time, not to hire experienced people, because we don't get a lot of experienced people even answer our ads. We have one line in the middle that says we have an opening for 2 or 3 entry-level technicians. And every time we run the ad, I will get anywhere from 10 to 15 younger, experienced, or maybe have had a smattering of experience in our industries come in and apply for these jobs. And they're great young people. We've had male and female. Unfortunately, we don't get as many female. I've yet to figure out exactly how to to entice the female people that want to get into the trades in. But we're really looking forward to being able to do that because we're way underrepresented on the female side. But getting the applicants in, I think, is the number one thing, whether it's a trade fair, whether it's a presentation at a school. And if you do a trade fair or a hiring fair at your business, we talk about how the business should be set up so it's attractive to work. I mean, I go into some businesses in the heating and air conditioning industry, and I walked into the door. If I was 20 years old and I looked in there, I'd wonder why the hell I would ever want to work there. So if you want to hire attractive people, you have to have an attractive place. So those are the things that we're putting together in this package: how to set your company up, how to make it look attractive, how to run these processes. We're putting the ads that we use. And we don't advertise in really expensive places. Most of our guys come in from Craigslist, and we're just finding that's a really good medium to pick the younger, inexperienced people out that are really hungry and looking for an opportunity.
So you guys are actually running ads. What platforms are you running ads on? Mostly Craigslist or
Craigslist,
social media?
Well, we haven't explored as much social media as we should. Although we're starting to do more of that. I watch friends of mine that are becoming successful at using social media, and I watch the processes and procedures. So we're going to do more of it here. We've done 2 ads that have been successful, so we're going to do more, and I want to create a template for that. That's the one good thing about having an air conditioning company here. We put this air conditioning company in as kind of a pilot program to do everything that I tell companies that I work with to do. I don't ever tell them. Pardon?
It gives you a lot of experience, and you can empathize with these other companies you're working with.
Oh, heck yes!
And be able to provide more insight. That's awesome.
Yeah,
sorry, keep going. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. And it's really been a great experience. Our CSR dispatcher, she came in with no experience. She was a restaurant person, and she'd been doing some assistant managership there. And because she just has the right attitude and is just a bright, energetic person, she's taken over that department and really does well. So it's allowed us to put the training processes and procedures together that make this stuff happen. And it's really been an exceptional experience.
That's awesome. You mentioned something just a minute ago. You talked about if you want to attract good talent, you need to be an attractive business to work for. What are some tips you can give our audience to become a more attractive business so that these people actually, are reaching out to you versus you reaching out to them? They start reaching out to you, hey, I need a job, or I'm looking for something. You're an attractive business that somebody wants to come and work for. What are a couple tips you could give our audience?
Over the years, the trades, because we don't have a lot of walk-in business, a lot of them have skipped over the, what does our place look like part. So as I go around a lot of different companies, they're located in the not best part of town. So if nobody would wander by and say, I'd love to work there. They don't always take the best care of their buildings cosmetically. And I mean, it doesn't have to be a palace. It just needs to look like a neat, clean, attractive place. If I was a 18, 20, 25-year-old person coming in looking for a job, and they take me into the warehouse, and I have to walk around back, and back there is, the past 6 months worth of equipment that needs to be scrapped and everything else, I would think twice about that. I'd want to take a look at their trucks, and are they all brand new? Well, you really don't know, but are they all wrapped, and do they look good? Does your office look good? Do the people that work for you look good? Because I'm going to go to work here, and in 15 years, I'm going to look like these guys. So if it looks like you hire the homeless, sometimes you need to clean them up too.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I grew up working in the bicycle industry, which is a service-based industry, and I started at the local shop here in my city, and gosh, I remember thinking, I should not be working here. These people they're just kind of crummy people. They're jerks. I don't like it, and I ended up leaving and going and working for a different bike shop that just was way more attractive to work for. The owners were nice. They were kind. They trained me. They gave me attention. They looked good. They dressed well. They dressed their business well. And I was attracted to their business. I remember going to them and saying, hey, I want to change the company I work for. And that's spot on. You really attract those that are like you. And so really consider, I think, the audience, consider, if you want quality people, look inside first. Look at yourself first and what you're doing. Are you an attractive person to be around? Are you an enjoyable person to be around? And you'll start to find that people will want to be around you and want to work for you. So I love that. I think it's powerful.
The point is that when this young person comes in and they take a look around, does it look like they can build a career with you, or does it look like they're just going to have a short-term job?
Totally. Yeah.
And, when I see these guys building these companies now, the places look better, they're nicer. And if I take a look at the guys that are really knocking it dead, I mean, they're spending a little more on fixing up their business. They're spending a little more on what we do for our technicians. They're spending a little more on programs that will help their technicians improve their life. They're bringing in financial advisors to tell these people to learn how to save your money and do something more than just work on equipment. And as a result, the techs that they're attracting, and it doesn't matter what the trade is, are better and better and better. And the ones that aren't doing that, we're getting the same old guys, and we've got the same problem all the time.
That's interesting. It really correlates. So for somebody who's maybe a one guy to three guy business right now, if I understand correctly, what you're saying is start considering how you can help these people that you just hired turn this into a career, not just be a short-term job and then go start their own business. What could you do to incentivize them to stick with you? Is that right?
That's right. I mean, if you walk into your shop and you didn't own it, and you looked around there, a good question to ask is, would I want to work here for the next 20 damn years? And if the answer is no, and you don't see yourself building a career there from outside walking in, then you just need to make those changes, because what is it going to take for you to entice someone from outside of our industry to think this is the right career choice for him or her?
That's awesome. Are there any other suggestions you have for our listeners and what they can do to be more attractive and make their business more attractive to be able to recruit higher quality employees?
No, just make your place look good. Make your employees look good. Make it look like a great place to work.
That's awesome.
Run some ads. Go find some young people who are bright and enthusiastic. Don't be afraid to invest some in them and have them come back energetic and bright and ready to do something, and listen to your ideas and go run calls, and then do it over and over and over again until you build the crew that you want. That's
awesome. Well, Joe, we're coming up here on the end of our podcast. I really appreciate you coming on our show. Where can our audience go to be able to learn more about you and what you're doing? And is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, if they'd like to learn more about the trade school, and to be honest with you, we would love everybody out there, if you're in the HVAC or plumbing business, to send somebody to us so we can prove what we can do. Go to the Technical Arts Center, www.technicalarts, ARTS Center. We don't have our .com. We don't have the plumbing pages up yet, but they are going up soon. All the HVAC pages are up there. And this fall and spring's calendar will be posted up there very shortly. They can contact me at Joe, Joe 9152 at Verizon.net. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I have for them. If they have any other ideas about other trades to be involved in, anything we can help them with as far as building a training program for them, because we've done it now. This is the second time. We'd love to help them be able to do that. And then they can go to my other website, Success Track Network, to learn about the other training we do in-house at various companies and the various programs that we do. If they belong to Service Roundtable or Service Nation, I'd encourage them to come to all the training programs. Go to Service World Expo. I'll have a booth there. I'd be happy to talk to them about anything that I do.
That's awesome, Joe. I really appreciate the time that you've taken to join us on our podcast here on our show. And everyone that's listening, thank you for joining in with us. Please go leave us a review. If it's not a 5-star review, don't leave us a review. No, I'm just kidding. But we really appreciate you guys joining. You guys make it possible for us to be able to bring in people like Joe Cunningham and to be able to listen to them and their story and what they're up to. And we hope this has been of value to you guys today. So thanks for joining us.